Good afternoon, everybody. Today is Friday, the 8th of May. It's just after lunchtime. And what's exciting about today is not only is it the end of week 2 here at school, but it's also the end of phase 0 of the Managed Return to School plan, which means that on Monday, the 11th of May, we enter into phase 1. And phase 1 is the phase where we have 25% of our students here each day per week. We have reduced staff numbers. We have a fair bit of restrictions on what we can do at school and what we can't do. And obviously we're planning for how we use the school site to keep everything safe and keep everyone well. So what I'm hoping to do today is to use this video to outline what's going to happen at school that impacts everybody. And then the specifics of each stage, I've made another set of videos which you'll be able to click on via this little tab beside me on the website. And there'll be a preschool video and an early stage 1 video, etc. in there, and that will tell you exactly what's happening for your particular kids where relevant. So before I start though, I do need to remind everybody, Sunday's Mother's Day, and we do have the opportunity for you to send in your cards and pictures and messages for Mum via the tab on our school website just here beside me, and they will be turned into a publication which will go live on Sunday morning around breakfast time, we hope. And I'll SMS out a link so that kids can sort of share that with Mum as part of those Mother's Day celebrations, which would be great for us. So here at school, we need to make sure that we are controlling the number of people that are on site in the first instance. So if we start at the start of the day, what we've done today is we've had lines painted on the footpath in front of each of the 3 gates. And in the morning, there'll be a teacher at each of those 3 gates. We won't open the gates up all that early. And we would ask people to not come along too early. And in each of the gates in the morning, there'll be one of the executive staff will be there. I'll probably be up in Copeland, I expect. You can bring your children along and kiss and drop them at the gate. We'll send them in through the school gate, and they'll head off straight to classes if it's a wet weather day. And we'll have appropriate staff in the yard to direct them into the right location. And as I said the other day, we are really asking the older kids give us a bit of a hand and to drop their younger siblings off in their classroom. The only parents that will be able to come through the gate, and it will be through the Copeland Road gate, will be the parents of the preschoolers, and they will take the preschool students up, and we will have an arrangement made for them so they can do the drop-off. We won't be sending them through very early, so we ask those preschool parents to not arrive until after 8:45 because the preschool actually doesn't open up until 9 o'clock. Once the day's started, we'll get the students through. The gates on Mariana and Bougainville will be locked. The Copeland Road gate will remain open for a fair bit of the day, just in case we have any visitors to the school. In the event that a student is late for school, and it's really important that that doesn't happen because particularly during the current times, that's going to cause a few issues. They'll need to make their way to the office, and all the way on the path outside the office, you'll see some red spots. That helps everyone with their spacing, and the student can be signed in and they'll be funneled through into class as per normal, and parents can then leave the school site. So I really have to point out that one of our big agendas here is we do need to limit the adults on the site, and that applies to staff as much as it does to parents and visitors. So once the school day starts, students will go off to class. We'll have about half of our teaching staff here each day. I'll remain here every day as I have been throughout the process, but I'll be supporting on an everyday basis. I'll be supported by the office staff who've been here all this week as well, and our teachers' aides will be here for all week from here on in. Each class will have less than 10 students, and that's one of the big priorities, and so we need to be very certain around the number of children we have at school each day so that we stick within the guidelines that are given to us. And on any given day, the teacher of one of the Year 1 classes, for instance, and one of the Year 2 classes, etc., will be here. And what that means is that we'll have the students from Year 3 and Year 4 in those groups, and they'll be taught by one of the teachers. The other teacher that's on the grade, and in some cases we have more than 2, we have 3 or 4, they will generally be at home engaged in remote learning as they have been over the last few weeks, and that helps us to engage the 75% of students that are at home on a given day, but also to support those links with the community, etc. And the other teachers back here. Over a 2-week cycle, each teacher will attend on each of the days of the week, which means that they will see all of their class over a 2-week cycle, presuming we're still going for 2 weeks. There is a different arrangement for support class, and if you have a student in a support class, you will really need to watch the videos that's beside me. And preschool in the same way, there is a much different setup for preschool, so you'll need to watch that video in a minute as well. The morning session will look much like it does now. So basically, you get to school, it's like it's raining, you go straight off to class. Once you've got to class, you do your learning. And then what we're going to do is we're dividing up lunch and recess into 2 shifts. So normally here, a recess would start at 10:55. Actually going to bring it forward, it'll start at 10:30. And we'll have the first shift will be half the school. Then when they finish, there's a 10-minute transition period. And the idea is we don't want to have a whole bunch of students going back to class while another bunch of students are moving. We really want to keep them separate. It's about relieving pressure, not only on our line-up areas and our stairs, but also on our toilet facilities, because obviously the students do need to go to the toilets. And we're keen to really relieve pressure on our drinking facilities as well. So one thing we'll be asking all parents is if you can send in a labeled drink bottle for the students, that would be best. They can refill it at a tap fairly easily, and that's fairly hygienic. But you know, if it's not necessary to use the bubbles, it would be best not. So in terms of recess, one group goes out early, one group goes out later, and there's a 10-minute slot in between where we're calling transition time. And we're changing the sort of activities that the kids can do. So football and soccer aren't going to be activities that we can do here. There's too much running around, too much huffing and puffing, and we've got a lot of kids then sharing one ball. Instead, we've got a whole range of activities where kids have their own toy, their own device, and we'll have teachers that will be organising what that looks like as we go along. The canteen facilities will look a lot different as well. So you will be able to buy your lunch via the app, and I will have some instructions on that on our website today as well. So downloading the app is probably the best option, I think, and then you can do a pre-order, and we will arrange for that to be taken to the classroom for the students. There's no over-the-counter sales. Lining up is just too problematic for us. It also means that parents won't be going down to the canteen to buy things over the counter for their kids either. So if you don't have the app or don't have access to the smartphone, what you'll need to do is to get a brown paper bag, I should not care what colour it is, but a paper bag, to write on the front the order. The money goes in the bag, and as the students enter school in the morning, they'll be able to drop that bag into a box that will be beside the canteen gate, and they'll be just fine. The middle session, it will be longer or shorter depending on which lunch and recess arrangement your particular class is on. But in the same way as recess, we will have 2 shifts with a 10-minute time in between, and we'll be splitting up how we get there. So one grade will be using one set of stairs, one grade's using the other set of stairs in the other end of the building, so the kids don't meet, and that will work as normal. Where things will become a bit different is in the afternoon. So we have an arrangement, and there'll be some specifics for it in the other videos. But essentially in the afternoon, we're going to ring the bell at 2:47. So the front gate at Copeland will be shut at this point in time. Parents will need to wait outside. I will go up there at an appropriate time, and I will open up the gate because the only kids who will really need parents that need to come in will be the parents of those in the preschool. All the other parents will be waiting outside. One important variation in the afternoon is the gate that is on Mariana will only be available for stage 1 students that have no older siblings, because that's how we're going to be funneling those kids out. So if you're going to be meeting your children and you'll be waiting at a gate, you would need to be waiting either at Copeland or at Bougainville, and your kids would need to know which gate to go through. And of course, you need to be waiting in a way that is everyone spaced out according to the lines of the posters that are on the gates out there. So other than that, the afternoon would be, I will let the preschool parents in just before the bell, and they will find their way up to the preschool and they'll do their collection up there. 2:47 in the afternoon, the bell's going to ring. The students who are in K-2, they will go and form not lines, because we're not going to be lining up, we're going to be forming sort of square groups within the brick squares in certain spots around the school. They will go and leave the classroom, they'll form their square groups. The older students who are in stage 2 and 3 that have siblings will go and collect their younger siblings, and we'll time it nicely so that by the time they've got their siblings, the bell's about ready to go at the end of the day, and they will leave through either Bougainville or Copeland, so not through Mariana. So you'll tell your kids which gate you want to leave through. Off they'll go. There'll be teachers at the gates as normal, and they will just leave the school after the bell. The K2 students who don't have any older siblings, they will be taken by their teacher to the Mariana gate. And on Mariana, there's lines already painted along the footpath. The idea will be the parents will wait at Mariana, and this is only if you've got a child in kindergarten, year 1 or year 2, who doesn't have an older sibling. You'll line up there, the teachers will bring the students out, and they will organise the kids to be sort of handed over to you through the gate, which will make life a bit easier. If we have got any family groupings, or basically anyone who has got a sibling in preschool, we will arrange for them to get around to the courtyard behind my building, and they'll be waiting in one of the brick squares on the floor. There'll be 1 square allocated per family. They will wait there, and they will leave with mum or dad or whichever adult has picked up a preschooler, and they will leave together, and they will leave through the Copeland Road gate, not through any other gate. That's the only gate that will in fact be available for them. So that's how they're going to be leaving. I would think that not very many students will in fact be leaving via the Bougainville Road gate. Probably most will be going out through those other gates. So that's what our general day will look like. We have additional cleaners assigned to school. So the current cleaners are working longer hours, and we have an additional cleaner due to start on Monday. We've had a good degree of thought about how we group kids. There's less tables in the classroom at the moment. The tables will be wiped down. We have each student will be assigned their own computer or their own pencils. They're not going to be sharing those materials through the day, and then those materials will be cleaned at the end of the day. All the lunchtime materials will be cleaned at the end of the day, so they're ready to go for the next day. So that's going to be our approach for now. As we've been talking about the last few weeks, we are reinventing the wheel to some degree. We don't exactly know what's going to work brilliantly and what might need a bit of a tweak. But what we do know is that the more information we have and the better prepared we are, the better it will be for the students. Our priority is to make sure that the kids have a great day and that everyone's happy and safe and everyone's well-being is looked after. The biggest changes in terms of a parent's point of view probably aren't those internal changes. It'll be the kiss and drop at the gate rather than coming in. That will be a big change. It will be the don't go to Mariana gate unless you are the parent of an infant who doesn't have an older sibling. And that will be a big change that we'll need to get used to as well. Obviously, any communication that's coming to the school still comes in via phone or email is by far the preferred option, because we really don't want to encourage too many people around. And if we need to get hold of you, we will telephone you rather than rounding you up the gate or having a chat in the yard like we normally did. I'll have some information about remote learning and work packs and access to technology and that sort of stuff in the videos by following the link beside me. That will get you through to the specific information for your stage. If anyone's got any concerns or questions, the teacher's probably the best person to answer those in the first instance, or an email or a telephone to the school will probably answer most of your others. Do please watch the other videos. Don't forget about the canteen arrangement being quite different, so we do need to be aware of that as well. Any other concerns, anything you think that we've missed, we are certainly here. The overall message is, of course, school is still open as it always has been. No child will be turned away, but we do need to be really mindful of our planning to make sure that we do have the appropriate amount of staff on site, and that's one of my really big things I'm working on at the moment. So I will see all of you sometime next week between Monday and Thursday, and I'm looking forward to seeing some kids back on site, and hopefully they're looking forward to coming back as well. Thanks everybody. Have a great weekend, and for all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day for Sunday.